r/AskReddit created by routinereddit. Disney theme park characters. Have there been situations where you had to break character? What was the reason? Consequences? 10 plus years ago, my friend was a face character at Disneyland and told me about her friend who was friends with Goofy, which is what you say to people when out of costume to preserve the magic instead of outright saying you're the character. Allegedly, one day, Goofy's shift was over and he was trying to walk to the back area to cool off when a very angry mom started yelling at him because he ignored her son. In reality, he couldn't see them as he was turning to walk away. The lady then called him racist and said that Goofy was ignoring them because they were black. Goofy turned around to greet the child and signed his autograph book and then turned to the mom and slipped up his sleeve to quickly point at his own black skin underneath before walking away. Edit. A few people commented that this isn't how the costume works and that the sleeves aren't possible to pull up under the gloves. It could be a baloney story, but this is just what I heard from my friend who worked at Disney alongside a bunch of our other classmates from our performing arts school at the time. Goofy making someone else feel goofy, and rightfully so. They done goofed. Consequences will never be the same. Man, that takes me back. I couldn't even get the zombies at Halloween Horror Nights to break character. Asked one where the restroom was and he flung his arms in the proper direction and grunted. Pretty hilarious. A few years ago at Halloween Horror Nights I had a brief chat with a chainsaw wielding maniac. He screamed, I screamed, I asked if he was having fun, and he said heck yeah, I love scaring people, and off he went. Was he an employee or just a literal chainsaw wielding maniac? Please clarify, I'm concerned. Lol, I can only hope he was an employee. I wasn't a character, but was a cast member. I was walking from backstage into the park. If you've seen the transitions, they are S-shaped to keep people from peeking in. I was pushing a dolly/handcart. The ones we used had two long supports sticking out from the end. As I was going though, Winnie the Pooh was walking in from the other side. I hit him/her square in the leg with it. Hearing Winnie the Pooh say freak was a pretty dang funny. Did they at least say it in the Pooh voice? Do you want to imagine it happening any other way? Leave a like, comment, and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. They don't break character. If a Nook fell on Disney, they'd be ushering you into the bomb shelters as Aladdin, or whatever. All this for a loaf of bread, one jump ahead of the fallout, one swing ahead of the blast. I was at Disneyland once, and the sheriff of Nottingham was fake menacing a child. He reached out to touch the kid's balloon, and for some reason it popped. The character actor was clearly stunned. A new balloon appeared less than 30 seconds later. The logistics at Disneyland sound downright impressive. It's impressive as heck. I was at Disney in California with my ex and her daughter. The kid lost her first visit button, and as soon as she said she lost it, a Disney employee in the toy shop who overheard was like, well, here's a new one. She had a bunch of buttons just sitting in a drawer by the register. I was all ready to go to the front gate and ask for a new one. They apparently have piles of them everywhere behind the scenes. I looked into it afterwards and literally everything, from open to closing, every inch of the park, everyone who works there, is 100% crafted and planned out so that, in theory, nothing can go wrong, and anyone who goes to Disney has their special perfect day. I watched Jack Sparrow talking to a kid when the kid started puking everywhere. He said too much of the old apple juice, been there myself, even ran out once. All the while, the kid is just projectile vomiting everywhere. Jack Sparrow has to be one of the most fun to play. You get to act drunk all day. Edit. Christ, my highest upvoted comment, and it's about Jack Sparrow being drunk. They literally just slur words all day lol. The one time we met him, we could only understand like 1/15 words, but it was hilarious. I was at Disneyland a couple weeks ago and saw Darth Vader not cutting down younglings. It was just unprofessional as all heck. The effort they put into it just isn't the same anymore. It's like they are sellouts now. My cousin used to do this when I was a kid. We'd always go try to find her on days we knew she was working. She mostly played Pooh Bear. She would never say out loud hi Nugatak. But she would get very animated and jump around to give us hugs. Occasionally she'd still say things like I have a rumbly in my tummy. I thought I was the coolest kid cause I knew Pooh Bear. You were correct about that. You are still the coolest kid for knowing Pooh Bear. They aren't supposed to speak at all. Only recently did the speaking Mickeys become a thing. The speaking Mickeys is my new avant-garde dance troupe. I know what day it is. You don't have to say anything. Point. I've seen articles that face characters can leave at any time if harassment is bad, using in-character excuses. Costume characters always have an attendant with them to control unruly guests. As long as your harassment is in character, like locking them up in a tower or kissing them while they sleep, there is nothing they can do. Takes Native Americans land in character. Charges at Mulan with a sword in character. Drug Alice in character. Dangles lion cub over precipice in character. Makes love to Timon in character as Pumbaa. Kills younglings in character. I have a close friend who was Woody for a while at Disneyland. He said that one time the float caught on fire during a show, and they had to play it off completely in character. They danced around it, and had to quickly get it backstage to deal with the problem. He said they played it off well enough that no one seemed to notice / there wasn't any panic. He said he had never seen an instance of anyone breaking character because everyone was very well trained and there's always at least 6 or so cameras that can see you at all times. I also one time offered an unopened water bottle to an employee when it was near 100 degrees and he said if anyone at Disney saw that, he would be fired. They can't take anything from guests. He also mentioned the cameras constantly watching both crew and patrons. Edit. I texted my friend to confirm, and he has given me another story to share. One time an acrobat fell off a float, face planted into the ground, and knocked herself out. They had to surround her in a circle and dance in sync as they dragged her body away. They played it off well and apparently no one noticed. All the cast members, costumed or not, get pretty frequent breaks, and after having been to World recently, I noticed there's a lot of places for them to cool off if need be. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they also have a tunnel network underneath the park. They do, but that's just where they keep Walt's head. Sounds like some sort of Disney-esque satanic ritual. Is that when the Maleficent float caught on fire? Not a character, but my family went to Disney World a few times when I was a kid. My dad was abusive, physically and verbally. We eventually left him when I was 12. He was awful on vacations for just being miserable in general. It was Valentine's Day and my mom, dad, older sister and I were at one of the parks. I don't remember which. All of the characters had big red hearts on a string around their necks. My sister was at oldest 8 and I would have been 6. We had just gotten ice cream and my sister and I were excitedly looking around for our favorite characters. My sister just saw Eeyore, her all-time favorite character, so she turned around and my dad, not paying attention, ran right into my sister holding her ice cream cone and got it on his shirt. He hauls off and smacks her in the side of the face, knocking off her glasses and making her drop her ice cream cone. She starts crying as my mom starts giving him crap while he defended his actions, saying she should have watched where she was going. The next thing we know is my sister is being hugged by Eeyore. It shocked her out of crying, and she was suddenly so incredibly happy because Eeyore just kept hugging her while my mom started taking pictures. Eeyore stopped hugging my sister, only to point to his paper heart then to her. Then he hugged her again. There is a picture somewhere in my mom's basement of my sister and I standing with Eeyore, my sister beaming, but clearly looking like she had been crying. I still think about that Eeyore to this day and wondered what they were thinking. It was the early 90s when people were largely still expected to mind their business when it came to such things, and reading these other comments makes me realize he may not have been able to do anything else anyway, but I appreciate his gesture nonetheless. Thanks Eeyore. This should be a standalone post. I feel for you guys. We are both all grown up and are in very good places now, but thank you. If it gives any nice catharsis, a few years after we left him, my mom, sister and I took our first vacation without him, also to Disney World. That was the first time we got to see our mom truly let go and have fun. She was always so tense before trying to take care of us and walking on eggshells around him. She took us on every ride. We got to stay up late and go swimming every night. And she found a ride, the Buzz Lightyear laser ride, that she loved so much we went on it 3 or 4 times in a row. It is my favorite family vacation to this day. Also, we got to see wild armadillos for the first time ever, so that was nice too. I'm a father of 4, all under 8 years old. It's freaking miserable taking the crew anywhere. Super frustrating. I get really mad sometimes, but I cannot fathom getting to a place where I smack my daughter in the face as she eats ice cream at Disney World. It's so wonderful that the character grabbed her and did that. I'm sending much love to you, your family, and to EIOR.